It's called the door of no return because no person went through this door and had the opportunity of coming out. This door, as you see, as big as it is, wasn't as it is. It was a small door. Should you go to the inner castle, you find the original door of no return. Now, it was made this big because after the abolition of slavery, Cape Coast was made the first capital city of Ghana. 1877, it was moved from here to Accra for economic and political reasons. Now, it is called the door of no return, just like I said, because no person went in. But I assure you that nobody will be kept there. They will all come out. There are no ships there. Let's move to the door of no return. Meters on the sea and be handed over to the ships. From this side to where the wall is over there, this place was known as European beach. So if you are a native, you don't swim around the side because you'll be captured among the slaves. While the slaves were going through the door of no return, soldiers used these steps. We call the golden steps. This is where the soldiers used. Now, on the sea, a lot of things happened. Some of the slaves had to throw themselves into the sea to die. But there was a ship called the Luzon. This ship carried so many slaves that the captain of the ship realized that the food and water they had was not enough for them. So about 120 slaves were thrown overboard to die in the sea. We have some books around that talks about the Middle Passage. After the tour, I'll show them to you. If you're interested, you can get them for further learning. But just have a quick turn back here. Back here we have Door of Return. 1998, we celebrated Emancipation Day, where two slaves taken from the castle, Samuel Capson was in New York, Madame Crystal was in Jamaica. They were dead, so their skeletons was exhumed and brought back to Ghana. Through the same sea, they passed through the same door of no return. Ceremonies was held for them at the courtyard. Now they are buried in Asimansu, where the slaves took their last bath, to represent that although enslaved Africans were taken from here, two of them have returned home. So their descendants should trace their roots back to their native home. And going back, we say we have the door of return. And since we have the door, let's return back. Let's go back. Thank you. Let's go back. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama traced a route to this particular castle. 2009, they paid a visit to this place. And that was when this black hair was there. So officially, I also welcome you back to the castle. Akwaba means welcome, and the response for it is thank you, Medasi. So I say Akwaba, you say Medasi. Akwaba.
So what is platform built by Michelle Obama or something?
Yes.
Okay. And
now from here we go to the condensed cell. And condensed cell, we see the only original door here in the castle. And this door is over 250 years. Please, let's move up here to the condensed cell. Like the name suggests, no person came in here and survived. The ladies had a punishment cell. They had ventilation. This place is a condensed cell. There is no ventilation for them. Don't worry, we'll go inside right now. Now, enslaved Africans were fighting for their rights. And fighting for your rights, you were seen to be rebellious. So being rebellious, they brought them here. In this particular place, there is no ventilation, no food, no water. Pure torture and death. You are going in to see how the place is. Please watch your head so you don't knock it. Nobody will die here. Come on, please, boss. That's okay. Down.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Watch your head. Watch your head, please. Alright. Experience. Watch your head, please. There is no source of ventilation entering into this particular place. There will be days, there will be people dead here, they will add more to them. Maximum one day, all the slaves will be dead. Now this is a door. After 2 days, they open this door just to peep through if there are dead slaves here. They bring these dead bodies out, show them to the other slaves. So psychologically, they break you down so you don't rebel. We are not supposed to die here. Please, let's move out. Watch your head when going out.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Let's take a look at the governor's side. But first, we go to the first place where slaves were first sold. We call it the Palava Hall. What we do through the steps. Let's take a look.
That's what you said.
This place is known as Palava Hall. Palava Hall. Palava is a Portuguese word meaning noise or confusion. Now, this place, noise or relationship. Okay. Now, this place was the first point of call for the slaves. Wherever slaves were captured, this is the first room they bring them. Don't forget, I told you that slaves were brought by their own people to be sold to the whites. Now, formerly, when Europeans came, they kidnapped the natives. But when they didn't get the numbers as they could, they had to rely on the natives themselves to bring the men to be sold to them. Now, when they come in here, items were used in exchange for the slaves. And depending on the item you want, you sell your slave for that particular item. Men were auctioned for 3 guns. Ladies were auctioned for 1 gun. Children were auctioned for mirror, rings, textiles, tobacco. Now, in Senegal, about 5 slaves were auctioned for a mirror, 10 slaves for a gun. So the item that you want, you sell your slave for that particular item. Palava Hall and auction place. Let's take a look at the barracks for the soldiers, where the soldiers also live. Please, walk with me here. But please take a look at the hill over here. You see that round building with the red top?
Yeah.
On the hill. It's a fort. We call it Fort William. So Fort William was built as a security checkpost for the castle. Wherever intruders are approaching, those in Fort William alert the soldiers who are here. They use light to communicate. Light was their source of communication. So, Fort William, soldiers here, any ship that is coming, which is not for the British, standing there, you see the whole of people. So they alert the soldiers here, arm themselves, the cannons are loaded. So they shoot and these balls reinforce the ships. Now you can see that some of the cannons are loaded to the town as well. So you can easily find out that there are days that the natives also tried to fight them. So to prevent themselves, they had to fight the natives as well. Wow. Let's move from here to see the first judicial court in Ghana. The first judicial court.
There.
After slave trade was abolished, George McLean, the governor, built the first Western type of court, judicial court. This place was built around 1834, and George McLean was the first judge to be in here. He himself was a lawyer by profession. He became the first judge to be here. Architectural design did not change anything here. Civil cases were held here as well. Civil cases were held here. criminal.
And who are the people who go to this spot?
So basically the chiefs. You see, George McLean had a problem with the whites doing the slavery. But after the slave trade was abolished, he didn't know why Africans were killing themselves because, for example, if a chief is dead, they have to kill about 4 men, cut their heads, just to accompany the dead body. So he established these courts so that these things will be stopped.
He was a very good man.
George McLean was a good man.
That's why so many families are doing that.
Okay, now let's move from here. Let's see where the governor lives. The bedroom and the hall for the governor. Please come with me. This place is the governor's living room. The governor's living room. This place was for one person, only the governor. Meanwhile, 1,000 men were down in the dining room. 300 ladies at the female slave line. One person enjoying this whole enough ventilation, nice view, looking at the ocean as well. Apart from the living room, the governor also had a bedroom. And this is the bedroom for the governor as well. Come with me here. So this is the governor's bedroom. Governor's bedroom. Also having 5 windows here. Also having 5 windows here is the governor's bedroom. Now Leticia, the governor's wife, died here. She poisoned herself here. And standing here, the governor also communicated with those in Fort William, just up there. Fort William was built around 1820. Built as a security check post. The governor brings in these things here. Now, George McLean was just one of the governors. This place was built 1665. So there were several governors that came around for George McLean. It reached the point that George McLean was also demoted. When the wife died, the Queen of England had to bring another governor. And then George McLean was made administrator. Then we had commander here.
And did the wife come to stay or?
She came to visit. Actually, when George McLean was coming around 1830, he didn't come with the wife. 1838, the wife visited. After 8 years. So he also had to find a girlfriend. Wow. Now, churches in Ghana started from the castle. And the first church here in Cape Coast Castle was the Anglican Church. But first church in Ghana was the Catholic Church. But Anglican Church, when they left the top of the male slave band, this is the Anglican Church, just here. And then Methodist Church also came out from the Anglican Church. They were having their service at where the graves are. When they left the graveside, this is the Methodist Church, the one at the end there. And then the one at the far end, the one at the top there, that is the Catholic Church. And because of the churches around this side, this place is known as the Chapel Square. The Chapel Square. Now let's move from here. Let's go down to see the governor's reception area. So apart from the bedroom and then the living room, he had a reception area for his visitors. Let's move to the reception. Now this place is a reception area for the governor. After hard day's work, they needed to enjoy. And this is the place they came to have fun. Also, the governor brought his friends here, and this is the place that they have their normal routine talks. Soldiers also rendered account to the governor on the sales of the day. How many slaves they are buying, taking to the Caribbeans. These accounts were made to the governor here as well. At the reception area. This room was where they kept their drinks. It was a storeroom where they kept their drinks. Now we are moving from here to see another fort. There is a fort called Fort Victoria. I've already showed you Fort William. Let's have a look at Fort Victoria.
And among the friends, the government.
But around, in the whole of West Africa, Europeans built about 66 forts and castles. And with this number, Ghana alone had 46 of them. Because the deal was West Africa had 66, Ghana alone had 46.
Wow.
Because the deal was profitable here in Ghana. Yeah, in Ghana it was profitable. And having the castles means the slaves were yours. So when the British built this particular castle, there was a need to protect it from other intruders. So these forts were built. There is a fort called Fort Victoria. Now come have a look at this place. There's water around this side. But on the hill over there is Fort Victoria, built around the 1700s. The hill over there, you can also see on the hill, up above, that side.
So what are the forts used for?
So normally, the forts, where we had the castles, forts were used as security checkposts for the castles. And where we didn't have the forts were used as slave dungeons as well.
So now what are they used for?
Just
Monument. So nothing happens there. No one's there.
actually, the workers are here. Fort Victoria has been abandoned. Nobody is still in there now. But Fort William, people are still here. Now let's move from here to the last place, and that will be the church. What is formerly the church? We have turned into children's library. Kids come in here now to learn. But this was formerly the church. Churches in Ghana started from the castle. The first church in Ghana was the Catholic Church, brought by the Portuguese, built in Elmina Castle, in the middle of Elmina Castle. Now, the Presbyterian Church was hosted at the Christianborg Castle, built by the Danes, on top of the male slave dungeon. This is the Anglican Church. Formerly, it was known as SPG, Society for the Propagation of the Gospel. Later changed into the Anglican Church. It was headed by Reverend Thomas Thompson. Later, we had Philip Quack becoming the pastor here as well. So while slave trade was going on, down there, church service was happening here. And there's a security hole just in front of the church. Now, after church service, they stand here to witness how slaves were faring down there. Ironically, heaven up here, hell down here. Methodist Church came out from this church, and they were having their service at where the graves are. Now, some of the soldiers had a problem with Philip Quack being a black man and giving them communion. So they came out from the Anglican Church and formed the Methodist Church. They were having their service down here. Slave trade ended here, 1833, by the Governor George McLean. But it's still going on, branded in a new way, given a new name business. We have child trafficking, molestation, rape, racism. These are forms of slavery. And when we come here, the education is that these things has to stop. So just like Bob Marley said, we have to emancipate our minds from mental slavery. Automatically, we have to do it. Never again should this thing happen. You might have read about the story or heard about it, but coming here yourself, experiencing it, you see how our ancestors went through in this particular transatlantic slave trade. Too soon, we've come to the end of our tour of the castle. My name is Jojo. Thank you very much for being with me. You are free to take enough pictures as you can. There are some books around. I'll show these books to you for further learning. Equally, appreciation can also be given to the tour guide as well. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Now, what is it?